I'm going to explain how photosynthesis works for plants to create their own food. Okay, this is the overall equation that shows photosynthesis. Take 6 carbon dioxide molecules, 6 water molecules, using the energy from sunlight. Plants create glucose, sugar, and then 6 oxygen molecules. Okay, here's a single plant cell. You can see out on the outer layer is a cell wall, then a cell membrane inside that. Inside plant cells there are a bunch of chloroplasts. That's these little green organelles inside that is where photosynthesis takes place. Inside the chloroplasts, which have a double membrane, and probably used to be or originally evolved from free-living bacteria that were photosynthetic that were later engulfed or incorporated into eukaryote cells. Okay, inside the chloroplast there are thylakoids, which are membranous sacs, and then stroma, which is like the cytoplasm inside the chloroplast. Okay, the first step of photosynthesis is that light shines down on these pigment molecules, colored molecules inside the thylakoid membranes. The most common are the green ones that are chlorophyll. They're green because they absorb red and blue light the best and reflect green light, so we see the green. But there are other pigments there as well, xanthophyll, carotene, other pigments, and so they're different colors and absorb different wavelengths of light. As these pigments absorb energy from the light, they shuffle the energy around until it's concentrated on the chlorophyll that's called the reaction center chlorophyll. When enough energy is obtained by that chlorophyll molecule, an electron jumps off, so there it is, the electron jumps off and travels along an electron transport chain, similar to the electron transport chain in cell respiration. The proteins are a little different, but it's a similar concept. Now we're going to leave this electron at the end of this electron transport chain. This series of pigments and the transport chain is called photosystem 1. Because it was discovered first. Okay. Now before another electron can jump off of this chlorophyll molecule, it just can't keep losing electrons, so it has to be replaced. That electron comes from this photosystem, photosystem 2. Okay, light shines onto those pigments. Again, they shuffle energy around until it gets concentrated on the reaction center chlorophyll, which loses an electron. Electron travels down that electron transport chain until it gets to the last protein, which deposits it on the chlorophyll that was missing one to begin with. But we haven't really solved the problem. All that's happened is we're missing an electron from another chlorophyll. However, this chlorophyll is a slightly different structure than the first one, and when it is missing an electron, has an incredible affinity for electrons. It's incredibly electronegative. So it has the ability to combine with water molecules and split them apart. It's going to split water into 3 different things. It's going to take the hydrogens away and break them apart into 2 electrons and 2 protons. So that's what happened to the 2 hydrogen atoms, and then a single oxygen atom. Now, of course, these electrons go to replace the missing electron off the chlorophyll, one at a time. We do this process again, we're going to get 2 more electrons and 2 more protons, and then another oxygen atom which combines with the first to make oxygen gas. That's the gas that we breathe. So all the oxygen that we breathe, all the oxygen in our atmosphere has come from photosynthetic organisms breaking apart water molecules. Okay, now that solved the problem of getting the electrons, but the protons, if you notice, start building up inside this thylakoid, and they don't want to be in there. You get too many protons all crowded up in there. They're all positively charged and they're repelling each other. Fortunately, we have an ATP synthase molecule. Again, if there's phosphate and ADP in the active sites, as these protons move through the ATP synthase. That molecule is able to combine ADP and phosphate to produce ATP. That's the energy molecule that's the energy molecule we've captured the energy from sunlight into chemical energy. However, we still have the problem of the electron at the end of the first electron transport chain and the proton. A molecule called NADP, which is similar to NAD but has a phosphate, it can pick up that electron and pick up the proton that came through the ATP synthase, combine those together to form NADPH. And that's the end of the first half of photosynthesis, where we've used energy from sunlight, captured that energy into chemicals. We're going to call this first set of reactions the light-dependent reactions of photosynthesis. And that's the end of the first half.